what was the party scene in back in Tallahassee? Because I'm just going to keep on asking until someone tells me what was going on when y'all got back. What was the move? Because we saw y'all. Got to remember, like social media was like really starting to kick then. I mean, I had PJ Williams on the Snapchat. I was seeing what he was doing 24/7. Ronald Darby. I had Jameis too. I could see everything what y'all were doing. But what was the move?
Hey, you ain't see me though. Hey, I like to be incognito. You know, it was some streakers. Like we flew in, and our bus route we come and turn left near that Taco Bell, and it was some streakers going to Taco Bell. I'm like, Tallahassee is the place where sometimes you just got to keep it going. Like you see some weird stuff in Tallahassee.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Mann. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, aka E-Dub, in the house. We're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. SSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day. We are here once again on this wonderful Thursday evening. We just got done with a great interview with Kenny Shaw. Man, I love having him on here. This is the second time. Funny. His accent gets me every single time. We talked 2013 National Championship. We talk about some funny stories between him and Karlos Williams. We talk about his camp that's coming up that is huge. I think me, Nate, Los, D-Lou, maybe Austin. We might slide by.
Austin ain't coming.
Austin ain't coming.
That's a 12-hour drive for me. I'm good.
But Kenny Shaw was fantastic. Really funny interview. We're going to throw that to you in the middle of this episode. Dustin, let me go through the intro first before you say just ignorant, awkward things on here. But yeah, the Kenny Shaw interview was raw, just like Dustin said. So make sure you guys get ready for that. Let me introduce my co-host with me this evening. Austin VZ Los is back with us up at the top, man. D-Lou, our lead writer and editor. Nate Greer, our lead recruiting insider. And I'm down at the bottom in the toilet bowl. So what's going on evening? Enjoy the Thursday evening with us, man. There's no better. I love Thursday evenings with you guys. So much fun.
Let's get this rolling, man. I'm hungry.
Oh my God, you did this last week.
Yeah, I'm starving too. I'm with Nate this time.
Oh well, y'all need to start bringing snacks. But let's jump into it. We just have a little bit, and we're going to talk about first off, 5-star Florida State lands Sam McCall, 5-star 2022 athlete, Ferbly defensive back. Sam McCall is actually was committed to Florida at one point for a little while, decommits, and actually picks the Florida State Seminoles. High school is Lake Gibson, 6 foot 180 out of Lakeland, Florida. Thoughts on Sam McCall, Nate and D-Lou?
It's a feather in the cap for this coaching staff, and I think it continues to kill that belief that this staff can't recruit. They stayed on him when he was committed to Florida. They never stopped recruiting him. And when you look at what he is as a player, kind of like Hunter in that he could play wide receiver in college. Last year he played primarily on offense, but he projects as a defensive back in college. He's tall enough. He's 6 feet 180. He's got super long arms and he's strong, so he can jam you at the line. He's athletic enough to play off. He can play safety in college. He's extremely versatile. And when you look at FSU moving to a 4-2-5, he can play anywhere in that secondary. He's got really good ball skills. He's effortless. When you watch him play, he's just a smooth football player. You know, I think him and Hunter are kind of in that same realm that they can play on either side of the ball and excel. Now, I compare him a little bit to J.C. Jackson or Janoris Jenkins. You know, those guys who are super tough. You know, they have that good size, and they have that ability to just destroy you in coverage. And I'm really interested to see, you know, where he plays in college. I think he can play anywhere, kind of like a Travis J too. You know, Travis J could play corner, could play receiver, could play on offense. You just don't know how things are going to unfold. But again, a second 5-star for Florida State, and you know, from Florida. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. He's that modern defensive back, really the type of player that Florida State's trying to bring in now. And I think, you know, really me and you, I mean, a lot of people I think were surprised on Sunday when he made that decision public, because it seemed like he was leaning towards committing more in the summer, and he actually ended up on campus on Sunday in the locker room with some players. And, you know, he just got that feeling, decided to go ahead and make it public. And it's a really good pickup for Florida State. I think it's better that it came sooner than later, because now he's going to be able to just join Travis Hunter and continue to build Tribe 22 alongside the rest of the guys already committed. And, I mean, it just gives – I think we talked about it – I don't remember if we talked about Gabe Harris or the 2023 guys committing last week or the week before, but we were talking about all the momentum that Florida State has right now on the recruiting trail, and this just adds to it. I mean, what they've done since January to now is insane.
They're hot.
Yeah, good players want to play with good players, so it just continues to show, like the 2010 class for FSU under Jimbo. You know, other great players are going to believe in the direction when they see, you know, like-minded guys follow and go in that direction. So, you know, I think they're going to have to battle a little bit to hold on to him. But I think that it's a major coup for Florida State. You know, they have 2 lockdown guys that can start as freshmen. They're that good. And that's not easy to do.
He's from the crib. And first and foremost, I would like to say congratulations, I mean, to that coaching staff for getting him. I mean, last time I heard he was going to Florida, and a lot of kids out of Lakeland, period, go to Florida. Mm-hmm. But I think he's lengthy. He's longer than 6'1" than he looks. I mean, he has great speed. I mean, I feel like he's either going to play in the deep third or he's going to be a receiver. Not overly physical, but he will make tackles. You know what I'm saying? So he's not a super thumper. He ain't gonna throw his body in there and take somebody. No, he's not that kind of guy. But he's gonna break down. He's gonna make a tackle. He's gonna play the next play. If he's on offense, he's gonna go get the ball. He had, like I said, he's very lengthy in size and his arms and range. I think his catch radius is outstanding for him, just being 6'1", 6'2". I think he's a tool in Norvell's toolbox. I mean, in the class of 22, we're getting a great jump, and I think, like you said, Nate, like-minded guys want to play with other like-minded guys, and so I don't think it's going to be hard to keep them. I think the way Hunter is being a leader in that class and wanting other guys to come compete and play and keep Florida State where they are, I think, I mean, sky's the limit for this class. Sky's the limit for him as well, playing with other great players.
I too think he plays on the back end. I think he plays safety, and he's explosive, man. Like, he's an explosive athlete, and he's really, really good in special teams too. So, you know, there's that third piece where he's a dang near elite return man. So, you know, again, just another guy for Norvell to put in that tool belt as they rebuild that program.
Florida State now has 2 5-star commits in its 2022 class per 247 Sports. Number 10th nationally as a school right now for Florida State in that class. So Mike Norvell doing very well. And if they can stay high like this and have a pretty decent product on the field, man, this class should be fun to keep an eye on. That's about it for like top 5. The 8-4. 8-4 is top 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Let's jump into now. That was pretty much our big quick hitters. The main focus right now is to jump into some spring camp previews. Spring camps begins on Tuesday. So much stuff to talk about. So let's jump into it right now. Let's start off with the quarterback position. Man, oh man, oh man. Obviously, the highlight here is Mackenzie Milton coming in. There's been some videos of him working out with players. He's been here since January, coming in as a guy, a veteran, a lot older than most of the cats here in the locker room. And then also you've got Jordan Travis, who started majority of the games last year, was a surprise to many, and saved a lot of games too last year. And so it seems like it's going to be a 1 and 2 kind of competition maybe to start off camp. And then you've got your guys behind both of them with Chubba Purdy and Tate Rodemaker. First initial thoughts heading into this camp and what you guys want to see from these 4 main guys.
Well, my initial thoughts are based off what, you hear so far with, the workouts and everything. I think this is going to be, it's already showed to be Mackenzie's team. I think that Chubba Purdy is going to be the second quarterback. I think that's where we go with this. Not saying that Jordan Travis doesn't have a role. I think that we've talked about it a lot on this podcast about how you figure out how to get him the ball on offense. I just don't think he's the starter or the backup. For him to be a third string guy, it's good for the quarterback room, but you have to get him on the field at some point in some form or fashion. But this is going to be, in my opinion, moving forward, Milton with Purdy as the backup.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you just said right there. I think really the way that Jordan Travis is going to get involved in this offense is with that wildcat role, which will give Florida State, he's a good runner. It'll give Florida State the ability to flex between the run and the pass, depending on how they want to run that. I think it'll be, potentially more productive than the wildcat they had a season ago with Jashawn Corbin back there. And like you said about Mackenzie Milton and Chubba Purdy, I think Milton coming in as a starter and Chubba, having this season to learn under him and just grow more as a leader and watch his habits on the field, off the field, that'll only help him in his growth. And then the spring for Milton is just, continuing to prove that knee is healthy. Maybe for him, tackling some mental hurdles that he's still dealing with because of the injury. I don't think he necessarily practices every single practice. I think Florida State is going to be really careful with him. He's a veteran quarterback. He's been in college for 5 or 6 years. He can have the luxury of a rest day, if that knee starts to bother him at all. And, there's a lot of good things to be excited about in that Florida State quarterback room as they start to move into the spring.
I'm hoping Purdy's healthy too, because he battled injuries last year and wasn't able to get probably the rhythm he wanted. If he's able to have a healthy camp, healthy summer, really learn the playbook, learn his receivers, he's the future of that room right now. Obviously, we'll see once we get to 2022 and 2023, the quarterbacks that come in. But as of now, he's the future for that room, and his development's going to be big this offseason.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He hasn't. He just now recently started throwing. So,
to me, I want Milton to take it. I want him to go in there and prove that he's a day one starter. There's no doubt that he's going to be the guy. And I want the other guys to kind of to not like, I want them to battle. I want them to go in there and go win the spot, but I want him to separate himself. Is that what I'm saying? I want him to solidify himself as the best quarterback on our roster. Now, I want that to make the other guys say, hey, if he goes down, I have to be the guy. So how am I going to prepare to be the guy? And that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see everybody compete. I want to see everybody get reps. I want everybody healthy. I want it to be a fair shake. So when you shake the apple tree, I'm saying I want the best one to fall out. I don't care. I just want the best player on the field. If it's Milton, that's who it is. If it's Purdy, that's what it is. If it's Travis, and Travis is not going to give it up easy. He's not. He's had a year under his belt. He's scored touchdowns in Doak. He's played a tough road game. He's beat North Carolina number 5 at home. He's done it. So, he's not going to give it up easy. It's going to be a competition at quarterback with him in the mix, with Purdy in the mix, and with Milton in the mix.
That's great for Florida State because they haven't had that in a while.
No,
So
not in a while.
Yeah, and the thing now, I mean, Milton's got this locker room. I mean, I don't know if anybody's checked social media or anything or been under a rock, but it seems like he's been around his teammates. I don't think he takes a day off or an hour off. He's with them 24/7. There's a video that went out on Keir Thomas's, who just recently transferred from South Carolina. There's a video of McKenzie Milton going around the locker room with a speaker playing music and all his teammates dapping him up and laughing at him. I mean, that's just something I feel like was Jameis-esque of just the kind of personality he has, but whenever it's time to get to work, we get to work. And he's definitely, I think, has won that locker room. And, what I've been told is that, Jordan Travis is definitely, there's nothing negative of him, what he brings to the locker room, but there are two different type of personalities that are in there between Milton and Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is more of a quiet guy. He kind of keeps to himself. He's not that vocal, big time leader. He'd rather do it out on the field and kind of show his leadership. Milton's kind of more vocal, more personable, I think, and getting closer with guys. And that's no knock on Jordan Travis. They're just two different type of people. But whenever you're trying to attract a locker room towards you, trying to become that vocal leader, I mean, it's happening right in front of our eyes, and it's something that is much needed. Any FSU fan would agree it is much needed, and we haven't seen this in so long.
I'm going to tell you the biggest difference, and as a player, and I love your point of view, Logan. To be honest with you, that point of view, I really haven't heard that, and that's from from a fan's point of view. From a player's point of view, the first thing they see is the player. Show me what you bought with the pads on. Show me what you're gonna do with the pads on. The guys in the locker room are seeing a quarterback, not an athlete with the football. They see a quarterback. A guy's going to drop back in the pocket, 5-7 step hitch, move, rotate, eyes rotating, hips flip, ball gone, like quick. Like, you know what I'm saying? They see a real quarterback. And it's nothing against Travis because he's a great athlete and he had a great season last year, very impressive. But that's what the guys see first. When you hear McKenzie Milton, what you hear? Complete package. You don't just hear a scrambler. You don't just hear, him just amazing throw. You hear everything. You hear winner. You hear national champion, quote unquote. You hear bowl winner. You hear complete package. When some people say Jordan Travis, that's a great athlete.
Kind of follow up on what you just said, Karlos. An exact quote I got talking to a current player was, we finally have that leader and we finally have a quarterback. This is from an offensive skill player. And
it's not a knock on Travis. It's not a knock.
No.
Because when you hear him, when you say his name, and when you ask any fan, that's a great athlete. That kid's an amazing athlete. They don't say he's an amazing quarterback. And when you hear McKenzie Milton, what do they say, Nate?
We finally have that quarterback.
So, I mean, Logan, I love that point of view, and I hope our listeners and viewers understand where we're coming from. I'm happy we have the different perspectives, but that's what it is. Like, a lot of guys in the locker room are happy to see that we have a QB, a guy that's experienced. He's a winner. He understands what it takes to get there, and now we just have to put in the time, not only the time, but the work to win. And they didn't have that before, and I think that's the difference in what we've had in years before, these past few, and then what we have now.
Yeah, my last stance on this is that you've got a quarterback that is experienced and winning. When Florida State is struggling against Notre Dame, I think you're going to see him, if he is expected to be a star, I think you're going to see him on the sideline really guiding guys. That's just how he's going to be. That's just why Mike Norvell brought him into this room to help change the culture. He's only here for a year, but this is going to change, I think, the whole process of getting that nasty locker room. They got to contaminate it and try to process this into having a winning culture. And whenever Florida State's struggling this upcoming season, I mean, you'd like to have a veteran guy be on your sideline for that. All right, let's jump into running backs and then tight end. So let's start off. Running back room, I think, is probably the one that I'm most excited for this upcoming season because of just the different kind of weapons you have with talent. We start off with Deshaun Corbin, Lawrence Toafili, who had a very nice, I think he surprised a lot of people. definitely here on this show. We weren't really expecting him to have a big old season in FSU, use him as much. But Lawrence Toafili, Baby 9, showed out last season. DJ Williams, transfer from Auburn, is here in the stable, along with Corey Wren, who Nate is always high about Corey Wren, track guy. Ja'Kai Douglas, who got a lot of playing time last year and made some really good plays too. Treshawn Ward, and then also Deontay Sheffield, two guys that might see a little bit of limited playing time this upcoming season. But first initial thoughts on this running back room heading into spring camp on Tuesday.
Hey, was it us talking on this podcast about how, there's some thoughts, there's some practices and there's some times where Ward has shown to be the best running back on the roster. He just hasn't put it together yet in terms of learning the playbook and all that kind of stuff. But, for him to be a walk-on, I think that's someone that's, I like him a lot. But,
yeah.
When you look at the running back room, we talked a little bit before we came on. I think that, Corbin will be your starter, but I think there's going to be a lot of rotation. And that's probably something that led to, Webb being a transfer was not being a primary running back. And, the way that Norvell runs his offense is that he really hasn't had a true 25, 30 carry back that I can recall. So this is going to be a rotational type, situational type offense. But I think that you have three guys that can help you in the run game, pass game, can line up outside. I do think that Williams would be a guy that will be leaned on later in the game. That downhill power runner that soften up the defense and then able to bust out a big one with Toafili. So I like what's in the room. And then you look at a guy like Corey Wren, who can line up in the slot and take a jet sweep. He's finally healthy. I'm really interested to see what he can do. And like you said, Ja'Kai Douglas, he did a lot from that slot in the screen game. So he can also play running back. So there's a lot of little pieces that this coaching staff can do. And they had a really good year running the ball. Let's not forget they finished 17th in the country as a running offense. And that's after losing Cam Akers. So, I think that's going to be even better as we head into the spring and into the fall.
Los, talk to me about Baby 9, second year.
I like 9. I like 9 in a lot of different capacities. The issue with the running back room is now Jordan Travis enters a realm of getting touches. And you have to understand that he's going to be in a quarterback race. And if he loses that race, how do we get this dynamic athlete the ball? That's where the jet sweeps come in. That's when the Wildcat come in with the play fake and the triple option, the pass later on down the field, the trick plays. It's a lot going on this offensive side where your strength has went from your receiving room in the past couple of years now to your backfield is loaded. And not only loaded with just backs, but now with a quarterback the sky's the limit. Because if he doesn't win the job, he can play anywhere. So from my perspective, I like 9 to get a lot of Wildcat. Put him in a slot. He's still young. Let him earn the stripes. He's played well at the end of the season. Let's see how spring goes. If he proves himself to be the number 2 guy, then he's going to go in there as number 2 guy. If he's number 1, then he earned to be number 1. I think Corbin's going to get the nod because he's the oldest guy in the room. I think that's the fair shake coming in the spring. Let him get the first couple of touches. Let him see if he's actually, the leader of the room. I think Williams came in to get touches. You don't go get SEC talent to let them sit in a running back room where you just lost Cam Akers, where you didn't have a true number 1 guy in the season. And that guy that performed extremely well is now at a different university. We're talking about Webb. So it's a lot to be expected. I know Douglas played a lot of special teams, had a couple some glimpses last year that he could actually really produce. Like you said, Nate, Ward. Haven't seen much of him myself, but if he proves to be the guy being a walk-on, that's even better for us. Put him on the field, find a way to get the kid the ball, and let him make plays. But that room is packed. It's very, very packed. There's a lot of talent in there. I just hope nobody has the fumbling disease. That's all I care about. Hope nobody fumbles the ball. Hope we got no guys that put the ball on the ground and we'll be fine, man. I can't wait till they strap it up, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for that running back room.
Like you said, Los, the running back room is packed, but just kind of echoing what Nate said, there's a lot of very diverse skill sets in that room. So there's going to be guys that are just being used in a multitude of ways. I think there's going to be a lot of rotation. I do agree that Corbin is probably your opening day starter at this point. And, I just point back to what the coaching staff said last year when they come in. They want to put players in positions to make plays. And they're going to do that with that running back room because there's guys that you can, throw to out of the backfield. There's guys you can run right down the middle with. There's guys you can run to the outside with. There's so much potential in this running back room. There's a lot of youth. So it's really just going to come with them putting it together and also, expected improvements on the offensive line.
I like what I saw from Corbin as the year progressed, as Webb started playing well and as Philly started playing well. I think Corbin stepped his game up. Towards the end of the year, he ran a lot harder. He was putting his name on that offense. So I think that he's going to be. I think he deserves to be the number one. Going into spring and probably as you go into the summer, I think he has shown that he can be that guy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point because he was finishing off the season very strong, and I think he saw Philly was right on his heels. The one thing hindering Philly was that he just couldn't stay fully healthy. I mean, he's a true freshman coming in. I did not expect him to get as much PT as he did last year, but he was most certainly by far, I think, one of the most biggest surprises to the season with how the skill set that he has and the vision, and I think he's the most all-around back that you have there. But this whole room heading into spring camp is kind of like how chicks when you're at the strip and you're seeing just a group of chicks just bashing each other and pulling hair and shit. This is how it's going to be on spring camp starting Tuesday with how much talent there is here, just going at it nonstop. I don't know where I came up with that analogy.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Does anybody have dreads in this room right here? No. Damn, I was going to say someone's going to be pulling someone's hair, but I guess not. But I'm just saying it's going to be scrappy. It's going to be a fun. This room right here has a lot of talent, but these guys want to get more playing time. So we'll see what happens.
I think you should cut that out when you do that.
Only one.
I'm keeping that in there. Keeping that in there.
There's only one football.
Yep. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get the majority?
I need
someone is.
If I was
coach, how much you need?
I need 10 a game. If I'm not getting 10 a game, then hey, bro, you might well let me hit the portal one more time.
Hey, well, so let me ask you a question.
No.
Okay. So I have a little different thought process of how the game has evolved. If I'm a running back, I don't necessarily want to be a primary workhorse in college. I want to save those miles for the NFL. Yeah, I want to go in and be able to show what I have, but I don't necessarily want to go to a school and be a guy who gets 28, 30 carries a game and maybe doesn't make their second contract in the NFL. And I think that as a running back, I think you started to see it where they go to school with another running back so they can share those carries and kind of save some of that wear and tear.
Saquon Barkley did that?
And Saquon has battled injuries his first 2 years.
But did Saquon do that?
Well,
Saquon was number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley was a big time reach as a number 2 back.
Number 2 overall. I'm talking about. You talking about longevity, or you talking about?
I'm talking about looking long term as a running back.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to?
I want to be that dude. I want to be the guy because I'm gonna tell you why. And I played with LaShawn McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
When LaShawn McCoy came to training camp, he didn't do no conditioning test. LaShawn McCoy didn't lift weights every single day. Like he was his workouts were tempered for his body, tempered for his conditioning, tempered. He's a real veteran. I would like to be the guy. I want to be the dude. I want to go to the university and be the guy. So if I go in as my freshman year and I tear it up my sophomore year, I'm not killing myself in workouts every day. My workload in practice is not heavy. We did not kill Dalvin in practice my senior year. You think Dalvin would have rushed for that? He would have broke that rushing record if we would have killed him in practice? No. I was the workhorse. I'm running everything downhill. I'm doing that. We need him on Saturday. Not finna kill him. I want to be the dude. I was the guy. I'm cool with that. No. Your temper, everything is fit for you to be successful. So, I mean, I can't necessarily say I want to go in there and be the second guy. No, real athlete's gonna sit there and tell you that, Nate. I want to be the second guy.
Well, I'm not saying be a second guy. I'm saying share the workload.
No,
get to the NFL.
No.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Because Nate, because you're saying that I want to take a pay cut. Then
no, you're not.
I want to take a pay cut. You want to take a pay cut? You want to take a pay cut? No, I want to maximize. Even if I don't play the all 4 guaranteed, if I'm a first round pick and I blow my knee out, my signing bonus is going to be more money than people are going to make in their entire football and life.
Not anymore.
So what I'm saying is I prefer to be that guy, and I prefer to get that workload. I prefer to that's just me. I'll carry that burden because honestly, I'm going to carry it to success. I don't like if I'm a high school kid, I'm a running back right now, and I'm the best running back in the country. I'm going to the school for me. I'm going to compete to be me. I want to be that guy, the number 1 guy. I want 30 touches a game. I want all the catches. I want all the kick returns, all the punt returns. I want it all.
So when you talk to a high school kid who has that mindset that they want to save some for their future, do you look down on that kid?
I'm gonna tell them this. If you go in there with that half-ass attitude, you're gonna be left half-ass empty. You're gonna come out, you're gonna look at your hand, it's gonna be half full. You'll always end up, if you take any approach at life, you're a grown man, bro. I wish you would take your ass to your job and say, I'm gonna do half the work today. Are you gonna have your job?
Yeah, because my half-ass is better than most people's 100%.
Not in college football when they're recruiting 23 of you every year. You getting 22 in a class, 23 in a. Yeah, you can't do that in college football. I'm just gonna be the number 2 dude. I'm gonna be cool being the backup. This ain't like you ain't Charlie Batch. You ain't. Know what I'm saying? You ain't Dilfer. You ain't Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah.
You ain't no career backup. You got to go get it. At a running back, you have to be the guy. You not the guy.
Charlie Batch, you went back for that one.
But I mean, like you always talk about, I'm too young to be knowing stuff. So I gave you somebody like that you know that was a career backup. Great backup. Came in the game, managed well, but he was a career. Nowadays, you just talked about recruiting. You can never go into a situation where I'm gonna go in at 50. I'm okay with getting the left. No, you cannot.
I don't disagree with you, but I think it's something that we're going to see moving forward. Just not saying that I agree with you. I don't disagree.
Yes,
but,
I know what you're saying. That's the football you love is gonna die, Nate.
Yeah,
it's gonna die.
I'm just interested to see how that unfolds.
The football you love is gonna die. They're having that ability to be like, you know what, I'm gonna save it. It's like Kawhi not playing back-to-backs.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kawhi, you're top 2 best basketball player in the NBA. Like when you feel like playing to your full potential and you don't play back-to-backs, like how are you getting paid millions and millions of dollars to not play back-to-backs? It's what you do. Like, what do you mean? It's what you do. Like, you give them to say, no, what I really just want to cool it. I don't want to. No, I'll just take 5 or 6 carries this game, coach. Wow. What you gonna break for 80, 60, yeah. 2 touchdowns? It was not hard it was to score. I averaged 9 carries a game in the NFL, 7 carries a game. I scored every 9 touches. No, how hard that was. I didn't even realize I did it after the season was over with. Kid, you can't do that. And I was really trying to get 20 carries a game, playing behind LaShawn McCoy, playing with Mike Gillislee, playing with Bright. I mean, that's hard getting 10 carries a game. That's what I'm saying. Give me 10.
And Gillislee was popping off during Buffalo. So that's when didn't the Patriots pick him up after that?
Yep. And that's what I'm saying, Nate. You can't really go into it with that mentality because unless you got the stroke of luck I did, think about this. Think about the running backs who drafted in the first round and who's broken that rookie record. And they all been that guy. That's hard. Like it's hard to go. You can't go in there with that mentality. You can't do that. You're gonna come out half empty. You're never gonna get what you really want out of what you're battling for.
I say we jump to tight ends. Anybody down? A little tight end action to finish it off. A little tight end situation. Last one, we'll run through this kind of quickly so we can get to the rest so we can have Austin talk his basketball, baby. I don't know why I added baby to
Just back there eating popcorn, watching TV.
Goldfish. Get it right.
Goldfish.
Yeah, goldfish. Big goldfish guy.
So let's run through it. Tight ends. Cameron McDonald expected to be the starter. I think we can all agree there. But I think there's a few little question marks.
I don't agree.
All right, we'll get to that. Hold up.
Hold up. Why is he the starter? Why?
Who's going to start in front of him?
No tight ends because we don't deserve one. Not since Izzo left. We haven't had a tight end since Izzo.
Hold up. All right, so we got
that's going to change this year.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to change it because they got a quarterback that knows where the hell they are. All right, Cam McDonald, Jordan Wilson from UCLA transfer. He was hurt last season. Seems like he's a full go. We've seen some videos of him lifting. Preston Daniel, walk-on, the guy that we've been told is expected to get the next scholarship, has been impressing very, very early on during tour duty. Carter Boatwright, young guy, and then Wyatt Rector, who was a walk-on, has now earned scholarship as of last year. This is practically your tight end room heading in before fall camp and other guys arrive like Kobe Gross. What am I missing?
You're missing
Jackson West.
Jackson West.
Oh, Jackson West.
And
Yeah,
Marcuston Douglas.
Okay. I'm missing really actually Jackson West. That's actually my bad because he's been the.
How many tight ends we got on the roster, man?
Let me count this up. We got
at least 7, at least
2, 3, 4, 5. Rector got a scholarship, right?
How many seniors?
6. So I'm pretty sure Rector's on scholarship. So 6 scholarship tight ends plus Preston Daniel.
How many seniors?
1.
How productive has he been?
Well, he's the guy that tore his Achilles last year in fall camp.
Oh,
Jordan
Wilson.
Yeah.
From UCLA. Yeah.
Oh, so Cam McDonald's not the most productive. My point exactly. Why is he the starter? Yeah, not productive whatsoever.
Quarterback. Can I ask about his quarterback situation? I got to ask about his quarterback situation. Definitely tight ends and wide receivers. I will say this is going to be a game changer when you put McKenzie Milton, who's throwing for that many yards, that many touchdowns. It's gonna find a tight end, Los. It's gonna find a tight. It's gonna find a tight. All right. So who do you want me to put? You know who was throwing to him this last couple of years? James Blackman, your guy, James Blackman, and Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis, who the offense under the Jordan Travis offense was, I think, the last person to throw to would have been a tight end. I think an offensive lineman would have been thrown to. First before a tight end last year.
Oh no, Cam had a couple good games last year.
Well, he had good games, but I'm just saying though he was probably the last on the totem pole to get thrown the ball to because of how many running backs. And,
well, let's just get to it. Okay.
And bringing up Jackson West.
Yes, let's talk about Jackson West.
Okay? Yeah, real quick because both you and I have been hearing the same thing on him. So
go ahead.
My thing is the staff loves them. They say they don't really have too much of a reason why. I know Nate has said that he's gained a good amount of pounds since being here. I know he can say the actual amount.
20 pounds.
They're just like salivating. The camp is just salivating on him starting camp and putting on pads. Supposedly he's been impressing very early on, definitely during tour of duty, lifts, watching film. He's right now, I think on my dog, he's like the surprise guy coming out of camp. Like he's going to be the surprise dude because just how the staff has been just talking about him, salivating, waiting for him to get pads on.
I'd say the tight end room, it kind of reminds me of last season because there wasn't really a lot of buzz. You know, you don't really have that, I guess, elite player at tight end, you know, that's going to produce more than anyone else on the team. It's just really a bunch of tough-nosed guys that are all trying to contribute in ways that they can, which, you know, for McDonald, that's more of receiving. For a guy like Jordan Wilson, that may be more blocking with helping out and receiving as well. So it's kind of like the running back room, different skill sets. And then, you know, Mike Norvell, he covets the tight end in his offense. He likes to have multiple formations with 2-3 tight ends on the field. And to me, you know, now you have 6 scholarship tight ends. hopefully no one is injured, moving forward through the spring and into fall camp like we saw with Wilson a season ago. And like I said, the versatility of those skill sets is going to allow you to play multiple of those guys at one time. And we're just going to have to see who rises to the top of that group. Right now, Cameron McDonald is taking the most snaps at Florida State. Karlos obviously doesn't like him. So we'll see if Mike Norvell can find a new starter for you, Los.
Hey, so Los. So what would you say? Let me ask you another question. What would you say to people that have been around the program for a while? Back before you came along, been around for a while. Say that there's a lot of people that think that Jackson West could be, and I use the word could be because you don't know how things are going to unfold, but could be the best tight end since Nick O'Leary. Here's a guy who's 6'4", 240-ish, 245, running with the wide receivers in tour duty. Those characteristics that we talked about at running back has those characteristics of wanting to just punish you as a player, is super motivated, and just has done everything right so far and done it well. So I think that's someone that, as a fan, we could and should be really excited to see how he develops in the spring.
I mean,
got to put it together on the field. It's all hype. I think we're all hyped out as fans. We want to see it on the field. Can he do it on the field?
To be honest with you, I am the guys that's been here and been playing, and in positions where we need the most help. I'm not talking about developing positions. Where I'm talking about where we've had guys been in this position, they're just not getting better at all. Like at tight end, I haven't seen tight ends improve at all, like over the seasons at all. McKinney was supposed to be, no, he went to Georgia and now he's ranked. I mean, I wouldn't say because of the usage, but he touched the ball quite a bit. He just wasn't. And then we changed offenses, so we'll say that. So I hope
McKinney had one catch, I think, at Georgia, 2 catches.
Yeah, he didn't have a good season.
That was a dumb move by him.
He blocked his tail off the entire year. And if you know anything about Georgia tight ends, they block for a running team. You got a stable of running backs. The offense changed for him too late. I mean, we spreaded them out and throw them screens. Come on, Taggart, you screwed the kid. Jacquez Patrick is running toss sweeps and bubble screens. Come on, you screwed the kid. But I hope this West kid, I hope he's every bit as advertised. Put it that way. I hope he's every. I
don't think nobody knows about him yet.
6'4", 235, he's a big kid.
Big
so
kid.
What was he before he came, Nate, on campus?
He was upper 220s. He's put on 20 pounds.
So O'Leary size tight end, you have the capabilities. Hope you don't wear any gloves. Let's throw some spit on the hands and smack them things together, go catch some balls. But until you put the pads on, who knows anything? Nobody knows nothing. Everybody can play 707, even Logan.
What did you just say? What did you say? What do you say about that race we're doing?
I said even you can play 707.
I sure did. I played against Derwin James.
Yeah, and we see how that ended.
He didn't want none of me though. He didn't come near me. He didn't cover me. He wanted none of this at all. That was in Tampa
I don't think he was focused on that.
It would have been like that Zion Williamson video, that little white kid that came up to him and was clapping his hands trying to get all hyped up, and then he fouled him. That's what that would be like.
That's what y'all all wish, but that wouldn't be the real thing. But yeah, no, this tight end room, I think it's pretty much said. I think Preston Daniel had some signs last year. I think he's going to be utilized more of blocking. Boatwright got to see more. Jordan Wilson got to see if he's healthy. But I do think Cameron McDonald, as a leader, he's going to be one of the biggest leaders on the team too. And he and Mackenzie Milton have supposedly gotten really close. So it's always a good idea to stay close with QB1. You might get some more balls to your hands.
Okay.
My bad. Am I wrong?
No, I got the look. My bad, fellas. I was listening, but then I looked.
I thought it was off of my comment of ball.
No.
If your
comment was dead on. Your comment was dead on.
Dead on. I don't think you heard it. But it was ball. If you're close with the quarterback, you're most likely to get more balls in your hands.
You're dead on. I think you're dead on. But I feel like here's the thing though. Guys that are open are gonna get the ball. Point blank. Period.
Milton's gonna find you too.
If you're open, you're gonna get the ball. And I think we have a lot. We have a better offensive coaching staff. We have a better quarterbacks coach coaching the quarterbacks. I mean, we have a better nucleus of quarterbacks. I mean, I think everything all around is going to be better. We just have to take the time to build it. With the 3 groups you talked about tonight, I'm very excited to see the quarterbacks get together. I'm very excited to see who comes out and separates himself. The running backs, I want to see who gets the bulk of the touches, who gets you, and also who gets utilized the most in the most ways. What back it gets moved around a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then the tight end room, who emerges? I mean, Cam McDonald's going to get the nod because he's been here. Wilson coming off the injury is going to get, some reps. I like to see what 4 is going to do, and then let the chips fall where they may, and hope these guys, produce and hope they step up to the plate. It's going to be a big spring for Florida State.
So what if Cam comes out first day of spring wearing a Waffle House arm sleeve? He won't.
because he's never open. The walk-on from Memphis, man, had a longer reception than Cam did all season, man.
Stop it.
They did run a trick play to him.
Doesn't matter, man. He got open. He
Stop it.
Got open. He was like Waffle House. Wide open.
Stop it. What did Cam McDonald do? Cam McDonald's doing a good job. He's
there for the
nonprofit. He's got a nonprofit helping out homeless
He's
people.
there for the optics.
He's there for the optics. All right. Speaking of Waffle House, we got to bring up.
Why using my word?
Hey, no.
Why using my word, man?
Hey, man.
The optics, man. The optics.
Like I see it.
Learning from our mentor with the beard, the gray beard with soup on it. All right, let's jump into Waffle House right here. Kenny Shaw. The only way you'll figure out the correlation between Waffle House and Kenny Shaw is if you listen to this episode. He was great. I'm gonna jump it to you guys right now, not even waste your time because it's too good and y'all waited enough. So here's 2013 national champion Kenny Shaw. All right, guys, we're here with another 2013 national champion. We got 2 in the house right now. Kenny Shaw, he's a veteran here on Hear the Spear by now. We're here with the 2013 national champion. Mr. Shaw is in the house. Mr. 300. Do people still call you Mr. 300? Like, is that gone now? Do people remember that?
Man, hey, it's crazy. It's crazy. I get so much random shit when I go out sometimes. It's like, but it's always love because, we came from a good home. Like Florida State is a good home base for college football players. Because I hear about my friends' teams and the fans, they don't give a shit about them anymore. But it's always love with Florida State fans, and I get a little bit of everything still. As funny as it sounds, because 300 is actually like cheap type shit, and I don't think people realize that then. But that's what makes it funnier now. Like,
people don't realize it. It's funny. I have a question about that later on too in the show, but I want to get started, and this is the reason I wanted to bring you on. Primarily is because of your camp that's coming up next month on April 17th. You've got a big one. This is your first one, and you have some big time guest coaches coming, some highlighting names. I could just sit here for like 10 minutes talking about them, but we got Jameis Winston. Everybody, I think some people know that guy. Dak Prescott from the Cowboys. We got EJ Manuel. He was on here just a few weeks ago. Telvin Smith, PJ Williams, Clinton Dix, Ike Taylor. I'm a Steelers guy, so I know some Ike Taylor and a ton of other guys. I think I saw Ronald Darby was on there on the website, added just a little bit ago. But tell me a little bit about your idea of doing the camp, how you think it's going to go. Just discuss it with us.
Well, the idea kind of surfaced from, like I said in a promo video, I kind of dove into the coaching world after like a little adjustment period when my season got canceled in the CFL. And it kind of, sometimes in life you do things that you don't know it's going to be a calling, because I was literally like at Florida State in spring 19 session while trying to get my degree, and was like kind of going through the ropes with the receivers and Blackman and all of them. So I didn't know at the time that I want to coach, but it kind of surfaced into that. So I said after my first year officially coaching, I was going to throw a camp, and, I was initially gonna do it January 16th, the day after my birthday, but COVID and the facility usage and all that hoorah stuff I had to alter it. So April 17th became a date, and I said to myself, it's gonna be a little bit mixture of a lot of guys that I'll have a walk of life with in my football world. Florida State guys, you see guys like Taylor and all that. You probably asking how that happened, and Los will tell you Tom Shaw. And the football world is small, so I said, it'll be good for my community, because that's really what I want to get across to the community too. That being that this is my first one, they probably been waiting for years, and it's deeper than what I'm explaining. But sometimes in the community they think that you forget about them a little bit. But I'm finna come big, so I'm trying to come with my guys.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely gonna be fun. I'm asking if I can come. I mean, I gotta see if me and Dustin can come by and slide by and
man.
I gotta get some coverage. I gotta get some coverage out there on it, because it's stacked. You got, obviously, we already talked about Jameis, but you got PJ Williams too, Terrence Brooks, Havion Elliott. Let's see who else. Of course, like I said, Ronald Darby, and Nigel Bradham too. Got Christian Jones.
I haven't named the running backs or the receivers, so obviously Los a running back. Los, you got Freeman and all them coming. So hey, it's a reunion. It's a reunion for real.
It's gonna be funny being down there, because a lot of guys get together around Pro Bowl season, and how the Pro Bowl, Orlando is, how Pro Bowl didn't get together. It's gonna be a good time, man. Not only a great camp, but a good time. Like, I guarantee Sam's gonna check in. I know Devontae gonna check in. It's gonna be a good time.
100%.
I think we got to be there for coverage. There's got to be some kind of media coverage there. So I'm just gonna put in my. I'm gonna try to get a credential to get in there, Kenny.
Yeah, man. And stop messing me on Instagram. You might well get my number by now.
I know.
Sometimes Instagram, I be off that thing. Like, I got to get off that thing, because
dude, I can't message on social media all the time. You just text me or call me. That's how I want to work from here on out. But yeah, tell them about where they can find the camp, and then the different age groups, because I know there's 2 different times, if I'm correct.
Yeah. And the 2 different time surface, because just with the protocol, I don't want to have it too flooded out. So I got a 1st through 7th grade session, and a 8th through 12th grade session. And even as we going along with this month, like I got goddamn some of my old teammates who don't even play skill positions coming. So I might have to open it up for O-line and D-line, because Big Cam Irvin and Timmy Jernigan want to come. It's Eddie Goldman, so I might have to open it up to some big hippos, you know what I mean? So
tell me about your relationship with Dak Prescott. How'd that come about? How'd you get to know him?
Well, it came about with Tom Shaw. He was, gosh, what year did he come out? I don't know what year by heart, but we was basically training with each other every day. He needed a receiver to run routes for, and I was getting ready for my season, so it was a good connection for each other, and we just stayed along, like I said, with this life. And fun fact, I asked him on April 10th, because initially it was April 10th that I rescheduled the camp to. That's like, oh man, my girl birthday. So I said, hey, if I change it, will you come? He said, hey, I'm there if you push it back to the 17th. I said, and then I literally texted him, I said, don't play with me now, because look, I will find you. And you think the media coverage is worse. I'm gonna be worse than media. So,
or Jerry Jones.
But that's my boy. So we always been close, and like I said, sometimes too in life too, you don't know somebody for that long, but y'all just hit it off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. No, like y'all were just saying, it's going to be a reunion, definitely, for the 2013 guys. Even before that, like that's going to be that's what I'm saying. We got to be there to take some pictures.
Some of my media guys talking about we're gonna mic you up, because sometimes they mic me up for my training sessions on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. And I said, please don't do that, because I'm gonna be cutting up. Hey, Los,
I'm telling you.
Hey, Los,
I'm telling you, hey, I'm getting a GoPro, whatever, body cam, just for that. Because I'm
Hey,
telling
but
you,
Los, I fly on the radar. They think I'm quiet, but hey,
listen. No, to this though. I was just gonna ask Kenny a question, like, your relationships, and you hear he say it's always love. It's always love. Kenny was a part of Jimbo's first recruiting class, but prior to even getting to Florida State, that area of Central Florida from Tampa to Orlando, it had a lot of great football between 2008 and 2011. Was a lot of great football. And Kenny, you got a lot of that greatness coming from your time in high school before you even got there. Like, what's some of the lifelong lasting relationships you got from being at Dr. Phillips, training with Coach Shaw, and even coming out of Orlando before you even got to Florida State?
Man, Dr. Phillips, as some people might know, is a big community, and I wasn't zoned for it. Now I can't get in trouble no more shit. But I wasn't zoned for Dr. Phillips, but I got in through it, through with my mom being a teacher at the school. So I got a good transfer, but I always knew Dr. Phillips was a community, being that Ryan Moore came out of there. Florida State had a linebacker, Ricardo Wright. So at the time I was a Hurricane fan growing up, but throughout the walk of the recruiting process, shit changed. You be like, no, I don't want to go here. No, I don't want to go here. But you just meet so many great people, and also I tell ball players too. I said you don't always have to be friends with football players. Like I met some guys who they can't even touch their toes. You know what I mean? Like they have no athletic bone in their body. But
that's what you picked, Kenny. That's what you picked for not being athletic. If you can't touch your toes.
Hey, Logan. Hey, I just try to be. I'm exaggerative sometimes. That's how I teach routes to the kids. Sometimes you gotta be exaggerative. But I also, like I said, like sometimes a person they not as athletic, and you don't write them off. But Alex, you remember Alex, our PT?
Yeah.
Alex, oh man, still to this day, he got me back from my knee, my tearing all 3 ligaments in my knee, like lifelong brother. But
it's crazy.
The list goes on. Like I got y'all, I got I got.
It's crazy because like, okay, Vince came on, we had EJ on, and they talk about the guys that they were close with, and it's just crazy that you see the years of guys of closeness. And
Christian Jones, like that whole class, our whole first, like the Central Florida, I kind of told it on one podcast. I was like, we had a secret commit. Like we were secretly committed to FSU a year before going. Like Christian Jones, Telvin, like all of it. And it was just like, to this day, from 2010 on, that's why I can't wait for our reunion. I can't wait for our reunion, because our reunion, they might have to shut down Tallahassee because it's going up.
Yeah.
It has to be.
That closeness of that.
We got so many memories. You got so many memories of like, people say only national championship, but we got the funniest stories. We got the most dramatic stories that we still can laugh about to this day.
Me and Kenny are a lot closer than a lot of people know, man. me and Kenny have experienced me grow up. Kenny has experienced me.
Hey, I watch all y'all from afar, and hey, I'm a people watcher.
Also, Kenny, you watch me from afar, yet very close at the same time. At the same time.
But I was explaining that the other day. I was like, girls are catty. Like I was explaining this, and I was like, girls are catty. That's why they it's hard for them to have friendships long lasting. I was like, guys, like literally my best friend in South Carolina, I cannot talk to him for a whole year, and we link up, and it's all lights out.
Yeah,
but that's just us guys. Like we don't.
That's brothers.
Dustin, you go ahead and throw that question I had bolded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought we were saving it for later. But yeah, Kenny, obviously it's not that big. Obviously, you played at Florida State, from 2010 to 2013, and during that time, you got to play with three quarterbacks that all ended up being first-round picks: Christian Ponder, EJ Manuel, and Jameis Winston. Who would you say was your favorite quarterback to play with in Tallahassee?
Oh man, this is a hot seat question.
Oh yeah, maybe it is a tough question. Hold up.
Maybe it's bigger than I thought.
They prep us a lot for interviews and shit before we even take an interview.
Yeah.
But to get around this question and to be as honest as possible, they all had certain traits that made you gravitate towards them. Like EJ threw me my first touchdown. I will forever be indebted to him. He hosted me on my recruiting trip when I was a senior in high school. Christian Ponder, oh man, he was the first college quarterback that I was like, this dude works. You know what I mean? Like this dude, he's squatting with the D lineman. Like Christian Ponder was his work ethic was, he was the first dude actually to take on Jimbo and can shut Jimbo out. And I respect him just for that. Because Jimbo was a intimidating coach. And especially at the quarterback position, it was just like, he's right behind him in practice. Like I was like a little gnat, and it's like, that's tough. But and then you got Jameis. Like Jameis will forever be a brother. Like we shared the same birthday week. We got a title together. Shit, we got some great nights out. Like all of them have they walks and like me and Karlos can both attest to. Each guy on the team, it can be a guy that we forget their whole name, but we see him in person and we be like, holy shit, and call him his nickname. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's just college football. Like that, the years you spend is.
I was going to
appreciate it as you get older.
Yeah, I have two questions here. I was going to ask, going back to Jameis too, and I know Los can also comment on it for both of you guys. What was it like going through that year with all the press and media? It felt like they were right outside the Moore every single morning. I mean, they were all over Jameis and the accusations that were being made. But how did that, how were y'all able to block that out? Was it Jimbo? Was it y'all's media relations helping block that out? How as a team, because it also had to have affected you guys too, seeing y'all's biggest leader, just getting, derailed on social media, and get hit with articles every week. How'd y'all go through with that?
Man, like I say, when you sweat, you bleed, and you also go through so much with a person, it kind of makes you take on that person's problems. And once that happens, it makes everything that much more easier. Like literally, we had no stress that year. We still had fun. We still, media come out. Oh, we still grind the next practice. Like whatever it took, we knew that we had a goal at hand. So, man, it was a lot of key factors to that year. It was the trainers, we had great coaching staff, the players, from everybody from the equipment managers who, we just had a goal, and we would forever appreciate that. And it was no pressure.
Like to add to that, Kenny said everything that was in detail, but the word was win. That's it. Wonder how you kill media, you win. You want how to shut people up, no matter what's going, no matter what goes on outside those walls. When you line up inside a doke, or your plane takes a trip to an opposite city, and you put on pads and cleats and you're inside the white lines, you come out with a W. The media can't say nothing else because you have to talk about the win. You got to talk about the win. You have to talk about the win. You have to talk about. You couldn't say nothing else until after the season was over, until we lost. You couldn't say nothing. I mean, you had to wait an entire year of going undefeated, of him. I mean, of what they say, him doing what he wanted to do, and him having these outbursts or whatever. But we were winning. You can't talk about nothing else when you're winning. You can't have allegations going on when you're winning, because you got to keep talking about the wins. And I think, like we talked about it with EJ. EJ said that the leadership that came with Kenny, that came with Christian, that came with Telvin, that came with those guys before our class. That's what they understood, that, hey, we the old heads. We got a young guy. Okay, maybe it may be this, but I know if we keep winning and we keep our eye on the prize, we're going to be fine. And that kind of rolled over to the next year. We had a lot of young guys on the team, but we knew if we kept winning, Cam, Rashad, O'Leary, the whole offensive line, we knew if we kept winning, focus on winning, focus on the next game, then the folk couldn't worry about the media, what the media was talking about. It didn't matter.
Not 100%.
So I got a question to follow up on that. It's a good segue. When did you know that team was going to win the national title? Like, walk us through, just your thoughts on that season and how that season went.
Shit. Hey, honestly, I knew it was going to be special from the time where we didn't have coaches to force us to do 7-on-7 right after classes and stuff like that, it was a thing the years following. Like, we had to make group chats and everything, but just to have a whole team doing 7-on-7s before spring ball, that's big.
There was a lot.
It's a certain grace period where the coaches can't really force us to do anything.
That was crazy though, because even Stork and O-lineman came out and did steps, and they came in at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, did steps. Then they worked out, and then they went to class, and then we had so before, that's crazy though. We really did govern ourselves.
Yeah, but that comes from each year. We just elevating, like in 10 we beat a good South Carolina team, and in 11 we beat a good Notre Dame team. Then we hit the Orange Bowl, and then we was like, hey man, we made it to a BCS. What's next?
Why not?
Like, it's sky's the limit.
And you were known for your ability to run routes. So, I covered you some in high school from the old scout.com. So I've been familiar with you for a while. And even in high school, you were just better than guys when it came to route running. And, you just got better as your time at Florida State went on. So, how did that all come about? What was it, working with Tom Shaw? Was it just, natural ability, a combination of everything? How did you become that guy who was so precise?
Shit, hey, I wish I could have answered the question way back in the day, but I figured the question that you asked, like, I figured it out as I'm like coaching these kids nowadays. I think that I tapped into my why I'm playing football. I wanted to get out of my situation. I knew moms couldn't handle paying for a prestige college like Florida State. You know what I mean? Like, I made it a thing. 7th grade, I said, I'm gonna earn my scholarship. Like you ain't got to worry about none of that. And then I kind of tell the guys, everybody want to go on with their strength. Like, oh, I run 4.4, all this. Like, I had to, I knew my weaknesses, and weaknesses was always, it's going to be size. It was going to be, I wasn't the fastest, but so I had to tap into that and work on how I can get around that. And I knew routes was going to be a thing. And I just took off from that. Like, I knew that if you couldn't touch me, and if I can do something, like I told Logan, I can be exaggerative with it, then I'm going to make it far with this.
Logan, I got 2 funny little snippets for you.
So one second. Oh, go ahead.
First time I met Kenny, he had a Tennessee volunteer hat on. He was this big. And
I did.
And we was like, Coach, like we met Nick, Patty, and the other guys from that. Like, who is this? Nice to meet y'all, blah, blah, blah. And Coach Shaw say, hey, Vince, Karlos, watch this kid run a route. And I'm talking about Santonio Holmes out there, Calvin Johnson's out. Hey, watch this kid run a route over the dollar. Watch this kid run a route. And Ike T lined up on him. Ike T, first day meeting him, Kenny put sauce on him. Quick slant. Boop, 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 boop. Knees inside. The boy like a baby giraffe. Knees is tight. From that day forward, we knew they called him Snoop. Snoop Minutes called him Little Snoop. They
did call me Snoop. I'm like, what y'all?
They knew he was gonna be great.
No, I thought he was calling me Snoop Dogg this whole time.
No, but they called him Snoop Minutes because they knew he was gonna be great. I got goosebumps. And then you remember we ran my freshman year. We still had the big hills on the foot practice fields. We ran down the one-on-ones, and John and the combi ran up to go against you first in one-on-ones.
A combi. Oh my God.
Listen,
how do you remember this?
He hit him with the sickest, like, off the line. Beautiful hezzy off the line. Quick feet. He sat him down. Coach Stoops yelled at him and said, son, as long as you wear guard on the goal, don't you ever go first in my line again in one-on-ones. Don't you ever do that again. Kenny was deadly. Like, it was a very select few to go up against Kenny, to go up against Burt. Nobody just lined up there. That's dangerous, man. Dangerous.
No, I tell the guys, like I say, I got a whole receiver core, and I actually had one of my receivers get a Florida State offer 2 weeks ago. Like, Dugan's hit me up, and it's like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. That guy's gonna be good. And I told this guy too. I was like, the quicker that people learn that you can't be like this guy on the TV, you have to tap into your own self. Like, you have to find. It's not bad adding something into your bag, but you still have to find yourself. And I went to Florida State 155. That was that was probably with my cell phone and everything in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to find yourself. Like, and you can say the same thing. Like, you knew that you had to be Karlos Williams.
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
I was going to ask you real quick, who was the hardest DB you've ever gone against? And we can start off at FSU, but maybe it is at FSU, but which one at FSU was the hardest you went against?
Hey, I knew every time Jordan lined up, it was going to be a battle. Then I knew if I was on outside Xavier Rhodes, it was going to be a battle. And then sometimes I get a snippet of Jalen Ramsey. And then if I had to go deep, I knew I had to outrun Darby, which is hard because he's a 4.2. So it was just, iron really do sharpen iron. So as Karlos can attest to it, our practices were battles. Our practices were harder than the games. If I'm being totally honest, like, our camps it got to the point where it was like, you might have to have security out there because we might get in a scuffle. More so because we're tired of shit than trying to get a break. That's where a vet break. You get a vet break.
Roll around real quick.
Yeah.
Even Jimbo talked about that, on a podcast this past year, a practice where you guys went 32 times at goal line.
Bruh.
Man. Hey, you know what? I was happy as shit because look, it was a long practice, and goal line, you ain't gonna keep 165 in there. You're gonna have one receiver, your jump ball guy, and so them 30 plays, I'm just watching it with amazement. Like, hey, they are hitting. I'm glad I'm not running back. I couldn't. People think I'm tough, but other positions, I give my hats off to them. But that was that stuff like that builds the identity of a team. You know what I mean? Like, say we folded in those first 5, like, the offense was like, oh, I want to hang up practice. We want to be the same.
No.
Every team.
No, we not. It's just that team wouldn't let it happen.
I think you're gonna have to get security for your camp next month because the story of Timmy Jernigan ripping kids' friggin' helmets off. I mean, we got to make sure.
Hey, I'm glad he on my side. Hey.
Oh no, he'll watch out for you guys. I love Timmy Jernigan. He's my favorite, man. But is he supposed to come to the camp next month?
Yeah. Like I said, I still each day I do a different position group. So I think I'll do D-line next. Then I'll go to running backs. Then receivers, I'll do that last.
True. Speaking of your toughness too, and I'm sure it's been asked so many times. Obviously, the hit against number 1 Oklahoma, 2011, second quarter, 13 minutes left. Crowd had a touchdown right here, but the hit that you went through, tell us about that, the recovery from it and everything. That was a brutal hit.
Hey, it was Seattle. That was the call. In Seattle, I have a hash read where there's cover 4, cover 3. If it's cover 3, if the safety in the middle of the field, I keep it up the hash. If it's cover 2 or cover 4, I bend it in. So it was a cover 4 look, and literally all I remember is just boom, touchdown. Like I read the field. I knew it was coming to me. Like sometimes when you get that call, you know that it's coming based off film study. And I knew it was coming, but I didn't know the sandwich was coming. So I tell everybody when they ask me to, they were like, hey, did that shit hurt? I was like, honestly, no. Like, I came back and played in the Clemson game. They called the same damn play too. And I'm not gonna lie, I was scared in Death Valley when they called it coming off and knocked out the week prior. So for the record, the hit didn't hurt, but the Florida one hurt like shit.
Yeah, that one was nasty too.
The Florida one, that's the one I had. If you run back that clip more and more, you'll see me. I tapped the Dawsey. Like, I celebrated the act like I didn't get hurt, but I came off the field for sure.
You had to do it in front of them Gators.
And speaking of the Oklahoma game, we've talked to EJ Manuel and Vince Williams about what was the best environment they played in. They always seem to go to that Oklahoma game.
Uh-huh.
What would you say was the best environment you had played in at Florida State?
At Florida State?
Or just in your career, however you want to do it.
I mean, at Florida State, definitely that game, and no question. I mean, shoot, LeBron James was watching that game, and it was a big one. Basically, it was a big one because people don't remember that year that we went up to Oklahoma and they mercy ruled us. I think like it was. I don't know, the score was like 63 to like the 14 or something like that, but they put a whooping on us. But I just know that game for sure as a home game was the most between that and Clemson, but nothing will ever beat the Rose Bowl feeling. And I bring up the Rose Bowl because I was talking about this to a coach today. He was like, when you played at the Swamp, do you feel like that old historic type moment when you walk in there? Like, do you feel like a lot of legends came through there? And I said, it's crazy. You actually kind of do. Like, it's just, and that's what I felt like with the Rose Bowl. It feels like it's like an older stadium that a lot of greats came through. And I can say the same thing about the Swamp.
Kenny, when you scored a touchdown in quite a few stadiums, what's the most satisfying place you've scored in? Like, when you scored, you'd be like, wow, I've scored here. Was it at Florida State when you finally scored a touchdown, knowing that a lot of receivers have came here and scored in this stadium? Was it like a surreal moment?
Well, the first one's always a surreal moment, especially how mine came. It came like literally like in the grind time. They put in the backups. Me and EJ. It was just a simple rollout play, and I scored my first touchdown. It was just like, damn, like I was just in high school last year. Like this don't feel right. Like I have no choice but to go celebrate later on at Chubby's. It was Chubby's at the time. I have no choice but to celebrate tonight because this is a big moment for me, and nobody can take this away from me. But obviously, another surreal moment came scoring after the Oklahoma knockout. Like, in Clemson, it was like, damn, like I was just in the ER the week before, and I'm scoring a touchdown with Clinton Trickett, like another guy came in to Tallahassee with, and it was like, you got a couple surreal moments. I feel like each touchdown in college football, because you're playing for so much more than when you get to the pros, every feeling, it means something. Shit, just seeing the horse come out, it means something. You get the goosebumps.
Whenever, go ahead.
While we're talking about you scoring touchdowns, I actually wanted to bring one up. Back in 2013, you guys were playing at Boston College, and you were down 17-3, battled all the way back. There's a couple seconds left in the half, and Jameis just chucks it up to you. You come down within the end zone. Y'all take the lead and go on to win the game. What was that moment like, and can you just describe the play?
Oh, the moment was, how y'all initially asked about the Jameis situation and how we handled all that stuff like that year. Every Thursday, Karlos will attest again, we hated Thursday because it was a lot of Thursday was our situation day, and we had situations where it's like we backed up coming out of end zone. We had 2 minutes, and we always worked 2 minutes. So we never worked the Hail Mary. We always worked the jump ball, but KB was the jump ball guy. I was always like if he tip it to me, I'm in front. But that play was just literally felt like this guy would just had me just grab that shit, honestly. Like it was a scramble drill. My football skill set kicked in at the time too. Like I try and explain it all the time, but it's hard to explain when you're not in the moment no more. But at the time watching it, it was definitely like, I'm glad the damn referee ain't called a not getting set by Pops though. You know, Christian Green, he wasn't set on the play. I'm like, that could have easily been a
flag.
Yeah, Pops, but that's Pops though. Pops, oh man.
Hey,
Christian Green.
Hey, you gotta love.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You ask Kenny, you just gotta love
that's
Pops.
My freshman roommate. Hey, that's my first college roommate, Pops.
His nickname, like
Christian came to university 45 years old.
Yes. Christian Green lives, acts like an old man. Like he's been 75 from the day he stepped in college.
Is there any
that throw by Jameis is one of his best throws he's ever had. No,
that was nuts.
Were you surprised? I know you were, a scramble drill and you ran down the sideline. Were you surprised when you saw that ball coming to you that he made that throw?
Surprised. I wasn't really surprised because that guy, his body might not look like it, but he can do some shit. Like, he
looks great now.
Yeah, he do. And I think that's because his adulthood, the manhood is kicking in now.
Yeah.
Before he was just an Uncle Joe, you know what I mean? Like but he always had a knack for just getting out of anything. So we knew that as a receiver, but I knew when he threw that ball in the air, my eyes got really big. I will not lie about that, but I knew that, hey, it's just me and this guy, and it's on me. And once I came down with it, I said, hey, what celebration do I do?
Was that a 300 one? Because you got to tell us about where the 300 came from.
That was like some Terrio shit. Like, I wish I would have Kodak Bop or something. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you see some old stuff of you and you like, dang, I wish I would have.
What did Jimbo said to you when he got back to the sideline?
Nah, Jimbo ain't say nothing. One thing about Jimbo, he's a hardcore, intimidating coach. But when you win in and you're doing it because we were still humble. Like, that team was very humble for what we got hit with that whole year. Like, and at one point, he just let us be loose a little bit. And once you get a green light to a team like that, it was no way we was going to lose.
Nate, go ahead with yours.
We already asked that, bro. We already talked about the national championship team.
Oh, Jesus. I know. How was it though being in Pasadena? Because y'all, maybe I'm just eager to find out what the party was like when y'all got back. Was there any kind of situations? We had Freddie on 2 weeks ago, and he was saying the situation in Pasadena. He spent all his money at the Gucci store.
Gucci Freddie.
Gucci Freddie.
Everybody got their own little stories. I know. I took my night in kind of calm because I knew we had a flight. That's one thing about Jimbo. He wasn't gonna let us stay too long in a away game. So I knew we had to be on that flight, and I was gonna save my celebration for Tallahassee, which is not a bad place to celebrate in.
Yeah, well,
the Rose Bowl is like the ultimate stadium to play in my opinion. So like you already said that was a great place to play in. But for Florida State to win a national title in that stadium was something that I always wanted to see. So it was awesome to watch as a fan.
What was the party scene back in Tallahassee? Because I'm just going to keep on asking until someone tells me what was going on when y'all got back. What was the move? Because we saw, y'all got to remember, like, social media was like really starting to kick then. I mean, I had PJ Williams on the Snapchat. I was seeing what he was doing 24/7. Ronald Darby. I had Jameis too. I could see everything what y'all were doing. But what was the move?
You ain't see me though. Hey, I like to be incognito. Nah, but it was just a blessed thing. Like, everybody was enjoying it. Like, people been waiting a long time.
It was love.
Yeah, people was waiting a long time. So it was nothing that was going to be looked down upon. It's to put it like that.
Los, you ain't commented?
Man, listen, the streets ran rampant. Oh, listen, the streets ran crazy. I got off the bus.
When we
got off
pulled
the
in,
bus,
you know,
I didn't go home.
where's that Taco Bell on? Is that Tennessee Street?
Yeah,
Tennessee. West Tennessee.
It was some streakers. Like we flew in, and our bus route, we come and turn left near that Taco Bell, and it was some streakers going to Taco Bell. I'm like, Tallahassee is the place where sometimes you just got to keep it going. Like, you see some weird stuff in Tallahassee.
But listen, when that bus came, when we came around to the stadium, we could barely get in the stadium. We could barely get in. I had my book bag on. I had a suitcase. I didn't even go home. Go home for what? No, man. I mean, it was all love. I mean, the city had been waiting. Like, we won the first BCS. I always tell people this: we won the first crystal ball, the first one, and the very last one they made, we took it out of there, and nobody can say that. I mean, when you win a crystal ball like that, I mean, it's treasure, man. I mean, it's crazy. They don't make those anymore. They had a whole.
They still owe us something for not doing the White House thing.
They wild for that, man.
Yeah, what was up with that? Y'all ever get any word back?
I think we all know because that was because of Jameis, man.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you the truth though. We would act the fool up there. Listen, LSU might have been dancing with the first lady.
Yeah,
we ain't trying to. We want to see the secrets. We want to see everything we're not supposed to see. We got people walking off. Not listening.
Too authentic. We were just too us. Like,
listen.
But like I said, hey, I would take not going to the White House over a reunion coming up any day. So
instant classic.
We talked a little beforehand, but we're partnered with Chick-fil-A now. So what is your go-to meal at Chick-fil-A?
Shoot, hey, I just got put on the breakfast. I never had the breakfast until the other week. Pretty good. But my go-to meal is this. Depending on how hungry I am, I go with the nuggets. So I either go with the 8 or 12 with the Chick-fil-A sauce and a frozen lemonade thing. Oh, that thing is love.
You got
never had the frozen lemonade? Huh?
Grilled or fried nuggets?
Fried.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What's the sauce? The biggest question for me is always sauces. I'm going to barbecue spot. I'm going to get chicken. What's going on? What's the sauce?
Chick-fil-A sauce.
The regular, nothing else? Keep it nice and simple?
Oh, man. Hey, I like to keep it nice and simple sometimes. I don't want to do too much on my sauce, but you can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A sauce.
No, it's good. It's
unless
magical.
Y'all sponsored by them. Y'all gonna put me on? What am I missing out?
I'm bringing
Logan.
I'm bringing you a few of these. We got some free meal cards. I'm gonna bring it on April. This will be my credential. These will be our credentials when we
come. Bring it for the whole camp.
Bring those at the gate. Bring those at the gate.
Hey, we hide them from Timmy Jernigan though. He can't see these.
Logan,
it was 1 point. I'm not. Go ahead, Karlos.
What's the sandwich?
A spicy grilled. It's got to be the new spicy grilled in my opinion. It's good. It's heat. If you like spicy, that spicy grilled one is. They just introduced it a couple weeks ago, but that hits differently, and it's grilled too, so you feel better about yourself when you're ordering it. But it ain't changing much. But
no, it was 1 point of life though. I gave Chick-fil-A up for a whole year.
You have to. It gets addicted, and then on Sundays you crave it the most.
The Chick-fil-A bowl game. They gave it to us for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. And I literally, I came from Atlanta, and I said, "Hey, y'all can wait in that damn line in Chick-fil-A. I ain't going to it. Like, I ain't done."
Forgot about that.
Just kind of sticking with the food questions. I think you mentioned Chubby's earlier, but I guess overall, what was your favorite place to eat at in Tallahassee?
Hey, top 5, definitely Chubby's Chicken. Hey, top 5.
Take Chubby's over Guthrie's?
100%.
Whoa.
100%. Chubby's Chicken?
I don't know. We got a lot of people that come on here and they're Guthrie's fans.
I got a couple more for you. I missed the hell out of Mr. Roboto's.
I do too, man.
Okay.
Hey, look. Hey,
it's so good.
I got one.
That's a good one.
El Jalisco, you want to go Mexican?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like to keep the chain going. I'm a Hooters fan. I will admit, I like the Buffalo shrimp at Hooters.
You don't like
Sure,
Hobbit?
that's all you like.
Hey, the Buffalo shrimp. Hey, what else? What's the place? Hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hobbit has good wings.
Jimmy Mills.
Yeah.
Classic.
Tallahassee got too much. If you're on a diet, stay out of Tallahassee.
What about Whataburger? You kick it with Whataburger?
I never had Whataburger in my life. But I've always seen people go in there.
Oh, you've always seen people go.
There's nothing like a 3M Whataburger run. Nothing.
No, literally, I never been in Whataburger. But I'm pretty sure it's good because it's always somebody in there.
Oh no, it's always packed too. If you're going out, that's the place to go after you're going out because, boom, you always want greasy food. So I mean, the drive-through takes forever. But the West Tennessee Street.
At 3 a.m. I might sit my head down at Waffle House. Los, you with me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's crazy too, Los? I'm gonna rock it. I might rock it this year, but I got a Waffle House half sleeve.
Hey, I swear, if you rock that, I swear.
Gotta wear it at the camp.
That would be some classic. That would be classic.
We gotta see this. A Waffle House sleeve. I was making
Where
sure
do you
didn't
get
say
one
it.
at?
I was hoping you.
Hey,
You gotta put that on right now.
You know what the motto is with this?
What is going on?
You gotta be open 24/7.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm open 24/7.
Give it to me.
I gotta get a picture for Twitter. Hold up.
All right.
Let's see.
They got to be open
24/7.
Now
you got it.
Yeah, I think. Wait, yeah, now I got it.
Hey, Lo, I saw him cooking my bacon. I said, "Hey, man, I rock half sleeves. That's my thing. I do one half sleeve."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Can I get one?" He went to the back and gave me 2 brand new ones.
Oh my! You gotta bring at least one of those next month to the camp too. Please.
Matter of fact, you better. Hey, I will go find another one. Receive the MVP. Get a Waffle House half sleeves.
Oh man.
Hey, this kid right here been open all camp, man.
Hey, you know what I did say? You know what I did say about that too, Los? I said, man, this camp, no goddamn award. This generation now, they too much. They give like 5th graders. Oh, this the All-American. You be like, what the hell? How is he a 5th grade All-American?
You remember what teacher used to tell me? You cannot talk, Los, until you play down a high school football. I couldn't talk at workouts. From middle school until my sophomore year of high school, I could not say a word at workouts. When 9 o'clock hit, I had to stop talking until 3:15 until we stopped working out.
Because there's some talented kids, but I never like to have a kid limit himself to he the best right now. You know what I mean? And that's what you get nowadays. You get a lot nowadays, definitely with the camps and stuff. You get the guys. Go ahead.
You don't like those 9th grade committing to Under Armour All-American,
Oh my God.
You have no idea how this kid's gonna, progress and or if he's maxed out yet.
All right, that's my question to you. Since you've been doing all this for a long time, how do you feel about all that?
I think it's too early. I think it's way too early. I think you don't know what a kid's gonna be until at least his junior year. I think you have the one-off kids like a Darwin or this Travis Hunter.
Yeah, you have some rare kids.
Yeah, you have some rare kids, but to just name 200 kids as All-Americans, I think is a participation trophy.
Yeah.
I think that maybe I'm wrong, but I think that junior year is a pivotal year for any football player that's trying to get that scholarship, man. You got to really show out and hit the camps and go to the Nike camps, go to whatever you can to get exposure. And I think it's so saturated now. there's announcements for announcements, and it gets to be a lot.
I remember there was one Nike camp. There was one camp. One.
Yeah, we had one Nike. We had one Under Armour, and that it was just like
it was invitation. Like if you got one in the mail, it said you're invited to the Nike Combine /camp.
Yeah, and it was in Orlando.
Yes, if you
better hope to make it because
you wasn't going.
Now there's one in Miami, Fort Myers,
and Orlando, how you get invited was
Tampa,
you went to
Jacksonville.
You went to the Combine. The Combine was in Miami, Jacksonville, Gainesville, and Tallahassee. There was 4 different locations.
Yep.
You can only go to one Combine.
Make it.
You can only go to one Combine, and from those numbers, they invite people to the camp, and that's where you did your one-on-ones. That's where you did your instruction with the coach and all that kind of stuff. I went every year as a receiver. I used to cheat every time. I was in Kenny's group with Clint Trickett. Remember, we was at UF. We only let Clint throw us the ball.
Yeah,
that was my junior year. We only let Clint throw us the ball the entire Nike camp.
I forget who said it, but you know, a lot of these kids now are evaluated just off what they do in shorts, and I think that's the biggest thing that has hurt the evaluation process is that there's too much of a dependency on what a kid does in the 7-on-7 setting and not in pads.
True.
Right.
So it's just changed. The evaluation process has changed. Like when I saw you at Sling and Shoot at USF a long time ago. You know, you were there. Like Chad Abrams was there playing safety. You know, back in the day. But that was like one of the only 2 or 3 camps in Florida that year. Like you better make it to there, or else you're not getting recognized.
And the thing is now, coming off my year of coaching, like it's all individualized. Like I told the guys literally like this week, I was like, how are y'all on the same team of high school, but on y'all on 4 different 7-on-7 teams?
Mm-hmm.
That Sling and Shoot thing, we literally was running our high school plays, getting our timing with our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we was able to earn scholarships. Now it's all about showcasing how many likes they can get on Instagram and how many views, and it's just it's tearing the game up. But that's where certain individuals come into play and be like, "Hey, young man, that's not what it is. You're gonna get humbled real quick."
Yeah, I was talking. I'm not going to say the kid's name, but this recruit messaged me. He messages me from time to time. He's trying to get offered from Florida State, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to the 7-on-7." I'm like, "Well, has your coach sent them your game film?" He's like, "Nah, you know, I want to show him what I can do 7-on-7." I'm like, "Well, buddy, that's not gonna do much for you. You know, you got to produce on the field first, man."
Mm-hmm. I was gonna,
but also that's an instance where his coach isn't helping him out by putting together a cut up a film for him to put out there. So he's got to depend on a 7-on-7 camp setting to get some recognition.
And Nate, I'm gonna argue with you, Nate. I'm gonna argue, Nate.
Okay, let's argue. Yes.
Or he's better in shorts compared to pads.
Yep.
You see a confidence level go up like this. Pads, some people get alligator arms in pads.
Mm-hmm.
7-on-7, they doing backflips and shit, doing the little dances. They totally different.
The running routes aren't even real routes,
Listen. As a DB that played against receivers like Kenny, I love days and pads as a safety, as a big man. And ask Kenny, I cover a lot of guys at State when I played safety. I had to cover a lot of people. I played a lot on defense before I moved to running back. So like I love days and Kenny, cool. Monday, Thursday, I got you. But Tuesday, Wednesday, your ass is mine. And when you come in the slot, I'm trying to grab you, choke you, if I get my hands on you. So I mean, I get it, but the game changed so much too, though. Mm-hmm. It's not many padded practices anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's not many. Like you're in shorts and helmets a lot of the times now. So you have a lot more opportunity to play 7-on-7s. You have football now that is year round. So you can evaluate these kids now year round. You only get to see football for a very limited, condensed period of time.
I also think that a 7-on-7 is tilted more to the offense. I think it's harder to play defense in a 7-on-7.
It is.
So I think that I don't want to say it's unfair, but it's a lot harder for a defensive back to go out and show out in a camp versus a wide receiver because they have all the control.
Honestly, the kid you not, you can ask Kenny. We went over. We had I can't remember what our team was. It was Dr. Phillips and Polk County had a 707 team, and Nick Patty was our quarterback. Badger 707 over at USF. You know what we did? Know what we ran? Man, okay, we went against DeMar Dorsey, Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, he was on our sideline, mouth full of gold, grown man, getting ready to go to Florida, go to Michigan, big offers. You know how we gonna stop you from touching the ball, my guy? We're gonna run man coverage across the board. Okay, how gonna cover you this play? I'm gonna cover you. We're gonna put D. We're gonna put Kenny out there at corner. We just gonna rotate people on you all day, give you different looks, different feels. We're gonna.
Hey, I'm Sherman. Hey, I'm gonna be Sherman though.
Yeah, like I'm just saying,
I ain't gonna be as physical.
But that's what we gonna do, and then that's what we did. The game is not the same. You can't run man like that. You don't got that many DBs on the field that can do that anymore. You got one kid that's highlighted on defense, and the camera's watching him, but it's watching the whole field at the same time. Like you said, Nate, it's built for the offense, for quarterbacks to sling the ball across the field, for receivers to get one-on-ones, and with safeties, it's halfway in the middle of the field to jump up. And I mean, it's different. I mean, it's nice to see Travis Hunter do what he did, but I've seen him do it in pads too. Just like Derwin, we used to see Derwin in 707s. Once we seen Derwin do it in pads, we knew it was confirmed. Now, so you just have to wait so long to see these kids developed on the actual football field. So they're expecting to be recruited and offered off of what they get to do most of the time, which is 707. They just get it confused. It's different. You're not actually getting to play football.
Before we let you go, Kenny, and we haven't really asked about the current state of Florida State and the program. Just give me your thoughts on Mike Norvell. Obviously, you're staying connected with Ron Dugans. I don't know if you've had any kind of interaction with Norvell or not, but I know that you're interactive a lot with the players. I think at one point you did have a film session with some of the guys about 2 years ago or a year ago. But tell me about the current state of FSU, your thoughts on Mike Norvell and what he's trying to bring and kind of change the culture that has been kind of.
No, I think they moving. I think they moving in the right direction. He gives me like a almost of a Jimbo type vibe as far as the structure that he wants on and off the field, which is big, because Tallahassee not an easy city to stay aloof in. So I think he got a good staff around him. Kenny D seems like he's legit. Ron Dugans, you never can beat a former player on staff who got the knowledge to get the guys somewhere. And I just feel like, and then you see the recruits, they're coming in. It's feeling like that's how we started with our 2010 class. It started with the recruiting things, and all they got to do is get the guys locked in. It seemed like they working hard. The strength and conditioning coach is doing their thing. I know they under good care with Jake, bald head ass. I miss Jake, by the way. With things like this in college football, you never really know until that game won. And it was the same thing with our former Heisman winner. Like, we had a lot of questions before that Pittsburgh game. Nobody knew. They only knew what happens in the spring game and how good we look moving forward, but they didn't know until Pittsburgh rolled. Each week is a thing. So regardless of the matter of the fact, I'm gonna always be a support of Florida State, whether they go 0-10 versus, So I just hope that.
Real quick, Kenny, you caught that ball against Pitt too on the sideline.
Oh my God! You saw that too, man.
Yeah, yeah, you caught that ball.
So they was hating on us early.
Yep. they always do. They always do.
That was our first level of hate right there. They ain't want to give them.
That was the first sign of it coming.
Right.
And what's happening now, man? I know the wide receivers didn't see a whole ton of love last year, but what a lot of people are expecting. You get Mackenzie Milton. That's a guy that threw. Jameis threw like this. Mackenzie Milton's a special player, definitely at quarterback. He knows how to throw the ball. He's been working out with a lot of the guys, getting extra work in. Guys traveling from I can't say where because they're eventually going to be on campus, but they're traveling to come put work in with them. Kenzie Milton is a guy that was a little bit like Jameis Winston. He is just a special guy that knows how to sling the ball and make plays out of nothing. Any thoughts on Mackenzie Milton and this offense now?
No, no question about him. He, as you see on the paper, he's a winner. Sometimes people look at injuries and think, can they be who they are again? And, that's all part of his mental, which I think that he's around the right group of people, then it shouldn't be a reason why he shouldn't do the same thing. So, like I say, if they piece it together, then we should do more numbers than we did last year.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, Kenny, unless anybody has anything else, I definitely appreciate you coming on here. Second time, man. And we are most certainly going to be at that camp because me and Dustin had already kind of been planning on it. We were like, all right, well, we might just get a hotel for the morning so we'll be able to wake up
Orlando,
right.
It's Orlando. It's fun here, man.
That's what I was saying. I was like, Dustin, we'll go drive down there. We'll leave Friday morning, maybe get into some trouble there. Dustin, I know you're engaged, though, Dustin. Dustin just got engaged, Kenny, so I don't know if we can go.
Yeah, I gotta be.
Dustin, just put the glasses on. You can be cool, man. Just be smooth, Dustin.
Gotta be careful.
Honestly, if you out in Orlando, you just gotta be there. Orlando will entertain you itself.
Karlos, you might have to ride with us. You might have to ride with us next month.
No, I can't ride with y'all.
Yeah, I'll meet y'all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say Nate needs to slide through.
I'm definitely not riding with y'all.
Nate, come get some coverage of the guys.
Yeah,
that might be.
It's only an hour 45 from my house, so
that's not bad.
Y'all just shoot me y'all numbers too. Cause I told y'all no more Instagram. No, we can shout out our Instagrams at the end of this, but no more.
I know exactly. Yeah, no, we need to come down there. We need to put NG's Instagram though on there. We'll go live there, get some reach out to it because we got to go big. If you're gonna do it, then you got to do it big. Then if it's your first camp, so we'd definitely love to come give some love to it, get some media coverage on it. But tell us. I actually know if you guys want to go check out the camp, find details on it. If you have anybody younger that you think might be interested, or if you're listening to this, go to Kenny's Instagram bio and click the link. It has the Eventbrite, all the details there. And like Kenny said, there's more guys supposed to be added for guest coaches. This is one of the most stacked camps that I've seen in a long while. We got to get some more reach out there. This thing is nuts, but definitely looking forward to it to be there in Orlando next month. Anything else from anybody else?
I want to shout out one of the sponsors, Team Reaper. He's in Tampa. Ryan, he's an old guy. He reached out to me, and like I say, I ain't known him long, but cool dude overall. So Team Reaper, y'all hit him up too.
Okay,
to get right.
Shout out to Team Reaper. But yeah, I think that will do it. Thank you, Kenny, for coming on once again. We'll hopefully see you next month. Good luck with all the camp preparation. And we'll see you soon, man. Appreciate you.
Right. Appreciate you for having me. Los, be smooth.
You already know that. I'm gonna hit you up, Brody.
All right.
Thanks, Kenny.
And we are back after the wonderful Kenny Shaw interview. Thank him for coming on and spending a full hour with us. We're excited about being at the camp next month. We've kind of practically invited ourselves, but I think Kenny would like to have us there. And I might have my dream come true and actually get to dap up Timmy Jernigan. I don't know if that's probably a good idea or not, but
me and Jameis Winston are going to go through a throwing session. I gotta make sure he's right for the season.
With your bad labrum, you ain't doing nothing.
Oh,
no, I'm healed up now. Look at this extension. Look at this. See that? I can get up high.
Yeah, I want to see your ups. I want to see that happen. Let's jump into
Chick-fil-A. Get like 15 inches off the ground for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put you line up. You played offensive line in high school. I'm going to line you up with Timmy Jernigan, and I want to see who wins that. What do you think, Nate, of that? What's your projection?
I'll pass. He's a free agent. He might be trying to impress someone right now, so I ain't getting in there.
All it would take is a pinky to you and be done. All right, let's jump into.
I'd love to see it. That'd be great.
It'd be worse than Sterling, love lady. It'd be worse than that. I ain't even got a helmet on.
Yeah, I was about to say, instead of ripping the helmet off of you, he'd rip your freaking head off. Let's jump into Chick-fil-A trivia. Finally, we got about everybody here. Dustin actually gets to participate. Los is here too. I ask a question every week from our friends at West Tennessee Street Chick-fil-A. We love them. Definitely appreciate them partnering up with us. I'm going to ask the guys a question related to Chick-fil-A and see how smart they are. Everybody on here likes Chick-fil-A. We'll see if they actually do or not. Let's see. All right, so this is kind of just an out-of-the-blue question, but here we go. Why is the A in Chick-fil-A capitalized? You can say first to say.
For grade A meat.
I know, because there's grade A food.
Why are you looking off to the side like that?
I said it first.
Los did say it.
Why are you looking off to the side?
I'm looking at my food.
Bullshit. For grade A meat.
Grade A meat. It says
grade A product.
It says
it's grade A food or something like that.
Let's see. Although many customers believe in be happenstance or arbitrary, Chick-fil-A founder Truett Cathy gave great consideration to the name of his restaurant, including the capitalization of the letter A, which symbolizes the top-notch quality of the food and service at Chick-fil-A restaurants.
Damn meat.
I don't know. That's kind of iffy there.
Food
Captain.
and service. You can't have the food. Can't have no service without food, damn it. You got to have the best chicken around to make a good chicken sandwich.
We'll give it to you. Don't give it to
Nate. He cheated.
Yeah, I think he does have Google up on.
At least my guess was straight to the camera.
That's right.
My wife was listening in the background.
And you had your hand up too. That was very like elementary school, like hand up first. Dustin, good to know that once you get open and available to participate in these, you just fall straight on your face and there's nothing from you.
Bro, I got no idea what Chick-fil-A stands for. I just know chicken.
I was going to guess Atlanta because the headquarters are in Atlanta.
I almost said that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that would have been a good guess. I had no clue either. Let's jump into some basketball to finish off the podcast this evening. Florida State had their senior night last night. Florida State absolutely obliterated Boston College 93 to 64. 93 to 64. MJ Walker has his last game in Tallahassee. Definitely. And then also the Michael Ojo tribute, which I saw on social media, was very special. Just a great night. Just like a night of, I wish I could have been there. Dustin didn't invite me.
I didn't have any extra seats, bro.
Yeah, Austin, Florida State is one game away from winning the ACC regular season championship. And are they going to do it or not for a second year in a row? Are they going to do it?
They should. I mean, Notre Dame's been horrible these last few games. Lost to NC State at home. Should have gotten blown out, but ended up being a little bit closer. Lost in Boston College last weekend. They're a bad team. They're a really bad team. Mike Bray's still a really good coach, but Notre Dame's such a bad team that you would think Florida State would be able to wrap this up. The Boston College game, it was pretty much over before it started. I mean, when you get beat by the walk-ons 4-2, the first 3 minutes, just go home. Just get back on the bus. Try again. Credit to Jay Heath for going for whatever it was, 28 points. He was great for Boston College, but he had no help. He had absolutely no help. Florida State just kept coming after them. 78 bench points. I don't care if it was a senior night and your usual starters are coming off the bench. 78 bench points is absurd. MJ Walker was great, 18 points. Raekwon Gray was fantastic, like 16 points, 7 of 7 from the floor. Anthony Polite had double-digit points. It was just a smackdown from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the usual from this Florida State team after, a very weird game on Saturday that saw them let that UNC game slip away in the second half. They looked like they were back into their rhythm. MJ had a fantastic game to end his career in the Tuck, and he got a huge round of applause whenever he did walk off the court and check out for the final time. Raekwon, like you said, he just continued to have that hot streak that he's been on over, the last 10 or 12 games or so. And I thought really all of the bigs were making plays. Tanner Ingom had a couple, I think it was 2-and-1s, at least one, and another play where he finished tough inside. And you could just tell from the onset, which, like you said, the walk-ons came on and took the lead over Boston College. I would have actually loved to see them play a couple more minutes with how they were, winning the game at that point. I thought, why not? Because BC isn't very good. But you could tell BC was just overmatched that entire game. And that was what we expected Florida State to do last night.
Yeah, Boston College fired their coach a couple weeks ago for a reason. It's a bad team.
Who is their interim head coach right now? Because I was at the game last night. He was on the court the whole game.
I think his name's Scott Spinelli, I think.
Didn't have his mask on, and he was on the court the whole game.
He's been at BC for like 7 or 8 years now. He's very, very highly regarded as an assistant. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting that job. Like they just take off the interim label this offseason.
I saw they were looking at Dennis Gates.
That wouldn't surprise me either because his wife lives up there. I hope not because I don't want to play him. I want Coach Gates in Tallahassee.
Well, I think that would eventually happen. I mean, after we didn't really have it on the docket, but also Leonard Hamilton's extension. I wonder how that affects that. Yeah, I mean, Dennis Gates. I mean, maybe get a bigger job, then boom, you're able to swoop Gates later on. You never know.
I mean, I guess how much that extension that was announced earlier this week for Leonard Hamilton. I think it was 5 years, 11.25, 11 something $11 million. With incentives for it to grow into even more. But, I think it was either before the season or something like that. We were kind of talking about Hamilton's future and where we saw it going from here. And, I mean, did you think it was going to be, 5 more years, Austin?
Technically, it's 4 years because it's retroactive. It covers last year as well. So it's going to be through 2025. So technically 4-year extension. I was surprised he signed one this long, though. We've seen the last 5-6 seasons he just takes a 1-year extension. So I was very surprised to see him take a 5-year extension. He still feels great, and obviously Florida State's as good as they've ever been, and they're going to keep being as good as they've ever been just with the talent they keep bringing in and the development they keep having. Florida State's not going anywhere. So I get it from both sides. I absolutely get it from both sides.
What about Seth Davis, tweeting out that, he's at Florida State as a Final Four pick?
I mean, when Florida State's on, they're one of the 3 best teams in the country.
I agree.
It's just that there's too many times where they're off. And the North Carolina game's a perfect picture of that. The first half, Florida State's killing them, both offensively and defensively. Carolina went into the half shooting like 24% from the field, 12% from 3, 14 turnovers and a half. You're like, oh, wow, Florida State's about to run away with this. In the second half, Carolina just kept getting to the free throw line, really slowed the game down, was actually making their free throws. For a 65% free throw shooting team to shoot 90% insane. You have a random bench guy go for 20. It was a tough game for Florida State last Saturday. And I, of course, had to be there for it. It was just a perfect microcosm of what Florida State is. Their ceiling is as high as anyone, but they also have a pretty low floor.
Hopefully they learn not to take the foot off the gas.
Oh, for
because,
sure.
I think it's pretty much for certain that if this team plays up to their potential, they're one of the top 3 to 4 teams. I think it's interesting when you look at, Baylor and Gonzaga, they kind of already penciled into that Final Four. And I think Michigan's starting to get to that level. And I'm just really interested to see how Florida State competes with those teams, because I think that, you and I have talked about it. We talked about it on this podcast and on Twitter. I think that Florida State matches well against any team in the country, including Gonzaga. So I'm just interested to see how things play out in March.
Yeah, I just got off another podcast before I came on here. We were talking about the same thing, like what kind of team would scare a Florida State. And I'm like, really what would scare me is one of these mid-majors that is deep and can hit the 3. Because
how hard is it?
Yeah, I don't know how many people actually like keep up with every team in college basketball, but Abilene Christian plays 10 guys and they shoot 35% from 3. That's a scary team to play as a 14 seed. I do not want to play Abilene Christian if we come March, because how are you going to tell these guys like, oh yeah, we're going to get up for Abilene Christian? It's tough. It's not like with Murray State where you got John Morant.
Yeah.
So, but once you get to the second weekend and you're playing the Iowas and the Illinois, you get less concerned because we've seen this team get up for big games.
Mhm.
We've seen it consistently all season. Smacked Louisville, smacked Virginia, smacked Clemson, smacked Florida. I mean, we've seen it all season.
I also think, I don't follow college basketball as closely as you do, of course, but I think that there's only a handful of teams, 8 to 10, that can really legit win the whole thing. So I mean, I kind of want to see mass chaos in the tournament. It's always fun to see, but I'm not really sure if we see it this year.
I think we see it more than usual, just because it's all in one location and guys are be a little bit more used to the gyms. It's not like usual where you get maybe 3 practices in the gym you're playing in. These teams that are going to go to the Final Four, they'll be in the same gym for almost a month. That's very uncommon for March Madness. And I think once we get in those later weekends, you're going to see some really hot shooting teams benefit. Like Florida State, it'll help them a ton if they get to that second weekend, just because they're used to the gyms they're playing in now.
Well, I know we talked about this at the beginning of the season with Aria, but with COVID-19 affecting the stands and everything, Florida State once again still is able to keep one of their biggest streaks with 25 games in a row against ACC opponents. That is incredible. And you told us, Austin, I thought maybe that this team would be more effective without having FSU fans there, because I think it definitely the fan base is loud. It's increased a lot more and everything, but Florida State still handled their own. Still, the stands that are in the fans that are in the stands now obviously are still loud and make a great atmosphere, but Florida State still held it down. Yeah, I mean, you get up sometimes. I don't see you get up a lot.
Because you got me tweeting the whole damn game. Last night I actually had a good time.
Yeah, Dustin actually got to take a night off. I don't think he needed to really have to tweet Florida State's up by 24.
Yeah, I was like, it's Boston College. I enjoy this.
But yeah, the Florida State still played very well this whole season, and it kept one of their biggest streaks with having that ACC streak. 25 games. 25. That's ridiculous.
One win away from tying the ACC record. And damn well ACC is going to give us Carolina or Duke or Virginia to open the conference slate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want 26? Yeah, here you go. Have fun.
Oh, yeah. Prime time blockbuster right there, Monday night. Absolutely.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. But it's just a testament to how tough it is to play in the Tucker Center, even if UCF came in and had the weirdest game of all time against us.
That's what I was going to say. What would the streak be if, just the overall home streak, if UCF would have won? Wouldn't it be?
I'd have to go back, but it'd be in the 50s.
Yeah.
Because it was 40,
I was going to say close to 40, but yeah.
No, it was 41 when it ended.
Yeah, it'd be nearing it.
So, and I think we've had 8 or 9 home games since.
Early 50s.
I think it'd be in the 50s.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And there had to be that.
Just this random UCF team that's, 8-11?
Yeah.
Now?
Pieces of.
It's weird. Florida State probably wins that game 98 times out of 100. It just happened to be one of those two.
Mm-hmm. Tanner Nam and also Nate Jack in here too. I saw before the game that they plan on coming out. And some people were giving Nam some heat. I saw on Twitter. I mean, maybe they're just being idiots and trolls, but I've liked how Nam has played.
He's played well. He played really well last night.
I think he's played well for a few games, and definitely last night for sure. Just a few. They were just saying they decided to allow them to come back, where you could have tried to grab younger and recruits or transfers.
They don't count towards the scholarships, so why not?
That's the Florida State fan base for you. They're not educated enough. There's there was people tweeting last night. I'm like, at least for me, I'm a fan of Nam, and the games that I've gone to, he's played pretty well. I'm like, well.
I mean, the way I look at it is, right now it looks like if things stay how they are, you're probably going to get Raekwon Gray back again. You're going to get Balsa back again. Malik Osborne's going to come back, and now you get Tenor back. So you get your entire big man rotation from this year back again with another year of experience, and that should help Florida State kind of alleviate a little bit of the youth that they're going to deal with in the beginning of the season as they start to try and get some new faces in that backcourt.
And the main question right now is whether Raekwon Evans comes back. You
mean Gray?
No, Evans. Because he was honored last night for senior night, but he could still decide he wants to come back. He hasn't fully decided yet. Florida State's going to need some experience in that backcourt. With Jalen Warley coming in, Matthew Cleveland coming in, you want an experienced point guard, and him coming back would be huge for Florida State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still trying to like figure out. I mean, right now it looks like Raekwon Gray's playing against middle schoolers and bullying the hell out of them. I'm just still making sure he doesn't start thinking if he has a big ACC tournament postseason that he isn't like.
I mean, he's popping up on some big boards that I keep up with, but it's in the 80s to 90s. It's not worth him coming out if he's going to go undrafted.
How much does that change for him if he were to come back? Does that really jump him up for next season?
I mean, if he comes back next year and shoots 35% from three, yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at a mock draft today, and they had MJ at about 38. And I honestly, in my opinion, I think Raekwon Gray has had a more impressive season than MJ this year.
Absolutely.
And if he comes back again and, continues to improve, like you said, get his percentage out of the 3-point line a little bit higher, I mean, there's a potential he sneaks into the back half of that first round or is right there early in the second round as a senior coming out.
I mean, MJ can have a long NBA career just being a 3-point shooter and a good defender. I've seen a few people say he's KCP. It's not a bad comparison. You just
had him pegged to the Celtics today.
Yeah, just let him sit behind the 3-point line, hit a few threes, play some good defense, bring some emotion. That's really all you need out of a second-round pick, and I think he can do that for a while.
I'm gearing up, boys. What, we got to start doing podcasts earlier now? We're gonna have to get rid of our Thursday nights.
Yeah, probably gonna have to go to Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what y'all want to do.
March is gonna be a wild month. Now we're ready to prepare for March Madness.
Do we know what day Florida State plays next week?
It's gonna be Thursday. Either way, It's gonna be Thursday.
So yeah, we won't be recording on Thursday.
Depends what happens Saturday for.
So we'll need to record probably on Wednesday because the opponent FSU plays will be playing Wednesday to determine Thursday, right?
Yeah, or we could just do a whole ACC preview.
I was thinking Tuesday, then we get we get the episode out on Thursday morning. Got to get. We can talk about this afterwards. We'll have post-production meeting, but anything else basketball wise, we're having like our production meeting here on the episode.
Yeah, I mean Saturday, like we said,
it's been so long at this point.
Yeah, you beat Notre Dame on Saturday.
Yep.
Back-to-back ACC regular season championships. Only Virginia, North Carolina, and Duke have done that since 1980.
Florida State's a blue bud.
Short list.
Blue bud.
And
buds.
And that's after never doing it before last season.
I know, right? That's
and
what
even,
I was.
And even if you lose at Notre Dame, Virginia still has to play at Louisville, which is not an easy game.
So it's looking promising for Florida State. What time is that game for Florida State on Saturday?
Right now it's at noon.
Right now at noon,
which sucks.
And I think
noon basketball.
Virginia plays at either 4 or 6. I forget off the top of my head.
Oh, last thing I do want to say, that Michael Ojo video last night in the tuck. I mean, man, that was just some.
I'm not ready for it to hit.
It was some outstanding work. I mean, you could tell they put a lot into it. I mean, they had clips of him playing. They had clips of him doing stuff like off the court at like media days and things like that. I mean, man, it was crazy. Like I wanted to cry in the stands, 100%. It was like 5 minutes. It was tough to watch, and like that was the first year that my parents got season tickets, 2013. So he was the first class of freshmen that I got to watch consistently, like actually being in the tuck, and yeah, man, it was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. Even however much longer it's been 8 months or whatever it's been. I still can't believe it. When I first showed up to Florida State and started working with the team, he was the senior. He was the leader that everybody just gravitated towards. And there's so many stories of us doing shooting drills after practice. It'd be me, him, and Trent Forrest just killing free throws out for hours. He's just such a great guy. It's such a shame, and still miss you, Big O.
Yeah. Well, definitely appreciate everybody listening to the show with us. Next week starts spring practice on Tuesday. We'll most likely be recording on that day. We'll see what happens. We'll get ready for March Madness too.
Hey,
for the craziness.
Before we go. Travis Hunter is the best player in the last 2 classes.
Whoa! We're going
raising
that
the bar.
Yeah.
Who was the biggest one before? Like, who you saying the class before that? Who was it?
Number one this past cycle was Corey Freeman, who went to USC. Then J.C. Latham, who offensive lineman that went to Alabama. A couple of, traditionally, the trenches or quarterbacks have been number one, but he's definitely the best defensive back since Derek Stingley, and I think he's better at this stage than Stingley was. So, debate hit me on Twitter if you want to debate it. But yeah, T Hunter.
I'm glad how we're having to tell people once again that he is the best.
Hey, all this love for Travis Hunter, and he still can't come on the podcast. I'm gonna have to send this snippet for you, Nate.
Yeah,
no, we're clamoring for you, man.
Well, definitely appreciate everybody listening to the episode. This has been a long one, so thank you guys if you made it this far for hanging out with us. If you are hanging out this far into here, if y'all could go on y'all's iTunes app, the Apple's podcast, and rate us 5 stars and leave a review, we would definitely appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Google Play, hit the subscribe button. Do everything. Definitely shout out to Kenny Shaw for coming on here a second time. Looking forward to his camp. Everybody have a great rest of y'all's week. We'll see if Florida State is able to seal the ACC regular season championship for a second year row on Saturday. We will talk to you guys very, very soon. Y'all have a great weekend.